I'm about to tell a kind of sad story, but there's something you need to know that is going to be important for for the end. I started smoking when I was like almost 16 years old, and it became a very bad addiction to me. I smoked like a pack every 2 days, like 4 packs a week, so that was a lot. Okay, so one day I was at my house with my sisters. No, not with my sisters. I was alone in my house, and my mom calls me. I had just gotten my license, so my parents didn't let me the car for myself. So my mom calls me and she tells me, I need you to go and pick up your sisters. I'll bring something to eat. So I was all like, whoa, I'm going to drive. So I got excited and I got in my car and I went to get my sisters. So when I was picking up my little sister, I already picked up my other little sister, but the big one. My mom calls again and she says, go and buy something to eat because I won't be getting home. I'm stuck with something at work. So I looked to my sisters and like, do you want pizza, Carl's Jr. because I'm super healthy. Yes. So we went like to Carl's Jr. We ordered takeout and we went back home. So we were at our house and we were talking because my grandpa was in the hospital. He had been in the hospital for a month. So he had EPOC. EPOC is a lung disease. So when he was in the hospital, there was told like no one could take care of him. He was going to come to live in my house. So my sister and I started talking like, oh, it would be great for him to be here. We used to talk a lot to my grandpa. He was my dad's stepfather, but he was like his father. My dad called him dad, and my dad loved him very much. So, like my granddad used to take us out for ice cream in family dinners because we were always, me and my sisters were bored, like from adult conversations. So he came to us and like, do you want an ice cream? And we went to Sultana for an ice cream. So we were telling like it would be nice because we could now take him for an ice cream. So I was in my mom's room watching TV. My sisters were each one in their room, and my mom gets home. And when she gets home, she calls my sisters to her room, and she just sits down. And when I saw her eyes, I realized what she was going to say. Her eyes were full of tears. And she told us, your grandpa is now in a better place. So I got like totally shocked because first of all, I was very, very united with my grandpa. So I got like shocked because what I was expecting was for him next week to come and live in my house. So when my mom told me he passed away, I got like angry. I was very, very, very mad because I knew what he died for was something he could have stopped. My grandpa used to smoke a lot since he was 13 years old, and he died at 65 years. He wasn't like old or something. So that day we went to the service, to the funeral. The next day was the service. So, my family, when we have funerals, they're always like on smoking, no smoking suit and high heels and everything. So the first day I went in jeans like I was dressed, and the second day I had to use high heels. So when I was entering the capillas, I fell down, like I literally fell down, and everyone was like, I was so embarrassed, so I took like the shoes and ran to the little family's room. Then, it was the service. And I still was so mad. I didn't go near my grandpa's casking because I was like mad at him. So I didn't get close, and before the service, I got close and I got like it came all to me like me cayó el 20, I would say. Sorry, no Spanish. And I started crying but it was all. One of my best friends, his name is Emmanuel, was there. So I just like hugged him and I started like crying and crying and crying and crying. And then it was the service and my dad spoke. As I told you, my grandpa was my dad's stepfather, but my dad loved him very much. So my dad spoke and he said some beautiful things about my grandpa. Something I admire about him is that you will never ever hear him talk bad about anyone. It wouldn't matter what you did to him, he will never talk bad about you. So my dad made a reference to it. He spoke when he got into his and his mother and sister's lives, and he said a lot of beautiful things. And it was when I started like crying and I stopped being angry. I became like sad, but I started like grieving. Yes, it said grieving. So then after the funeral, we had like he was cremated and everything. So I went back home at my house. I cried a lot, but then like I thought, okay, I'm smoking. I know that my grandpa, this would be something he wouldn't like a lot. He knew I smoked, and the day he found out, he like called my attention and said, "You don't want to end up like me. Don't do it." So it's been really hard. It's almost been 2 years since he died. It was on May 25. But I've stopped smoking that much. Like from going 4 packs a week, I'm smoking like a cigarette every 2 weeks. So that's a lot of progress. I'm on it still. And I wanted to share this story with you because it's something like I haven't been able to let go away, and I think that speaking about it helps me like free. But I think that would be